Hey folks, welcome back to my basement. I'm here to re-record the end of Lecture 0 because I forgot to turn on my recorder during class. So I just wanted to quickly hit on the slides that we covered in that on Thursday. So what we're covering this semester, here's a list of what are often taught as separate procedures that are all unified under the general linear model. So this is essentially a list of everything that we're going to talk about this semester. What I wanted to do with the remainder of this is talk about what kinds of data and what kinds of samples these models are designed for, because I don't want to oversell what you are likely to be able to do when you finish this course. All right, let's see if I can get my mouse to work. Always the tricky part. There we are. We got it. Okay. So when we want to know something about the world, our first question is like, who do we want to know it about? And in this context, we distinguish populations from samples. Population is the idea of like who you eventually want to draw conclusions about, what kind of person. And we have to select samples, so limited numbers from that population, to try and figure out what relationships between variables are that would answer our questions in this sample, and also try to get a sense as to how those results may or may not generalize back to some population. So variables, as we are going to call them, are characteristics that differ across units in a sample, where units can be things like people, schools, businesses, animals, etc. In this class, I'll just say people. So for example, let's say that a researcher wants to examine graduate student life, so they use a survey designed to collect self-report information about membership in one's program, so what we went over earlier, stress levels and levels of well-being. So we have to first decide what kind of sample you want to collect. So for instance, if you decided to sample only one academic program, then program would not be a variable, it would be a constant. To examine differences between programs, we'd need to sample multiple programs from the same college at a minimum, but it would probably be better to help generalize the results back to a broader population if we included multiple colleges from the same university or even multiple universities. Also, are we satisfied with a one-shot assessment? Or do we think that we would get a better description of people's general tendencies if we had multiple data points to work with, so several occasions, for instance? Should we try to collect corresponding data that would go along with and complement the self-report data? So for instance, would we ask the students' partners, friends, family, that kind of thing, to also answer some questions about their levels of stress and their levels of well-being? And all of these kinds of extensions are heading towards a vocabulary word that I want to introduce here, dependent. The idea that there are going to be relations among different units. So whenever you extend the sample in these different sampling dimensions, you need to worry about that. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the models that we're going to be working with in this class, general linear models, are designed for independent samples where we don't have these extra sources of relationship. So if we had, for instance, data from one occasion of measurement from students in the same program, then program is a constant. It is constant across all the people from that program, not a variable, so it can't be part of any research questions. But then you've controlled for differences between programs by not allowing them into your sample. Otherwise, if you had dependent samples, meaning that the units are related because of common sampling, one approach could be to sample lots of programs from the same university. So for instance, people from the same program may look more alike in their responses than people from different programs. That's a kind of correlation or dependency. And this particular type of data is what's known as clustered or nested data. That's the 1230 class where I'm teaching about how to analyze that kind of data. Also, if you sampled someone more than once, then you have what is known as repeated measures data or longitudinal data. And if you have multiple targets, or raters, I guess, reporting on the same target, so if you ask the subject and then you ask the friend of the subject, that creates dyadic data, where reports about the same person should be more alike than reports about different people. So this course only covers independent samples, and those are honestly kind of hard to come by in real life. That's the bad news. Further bad news is that univariate models in this course are going to predict a numeric outcome only. We're not going to be able to predict other kinds. There are models for that, but we're not going to get a chance to cover them. So those are some potential limitations. However, everything that you're going to learn this semester will help you in learning how to do more complex analyses. You're not going to be taking anything away. You're just going to be adding onto the foundation that we're hopeful to build this semester so you can keep learning. And if you wanted to keep learning, here's some advanced coursework that you might consider that's designed for dependent data. So to wrap things up then, this semester we are going to learn general linear models, the specific variants of which have many different names, but teaching them from a unified perspective will allow them to be learned more easily, as well as the capacity to understand extensions to more complex models. What makes this hard is not the math, it's the language. So it's a combination of vocabulary and notation and syntax and the logic by which we can relate data to questions to models. So we're going to start with lecture 1 by just summarizing one variable at a time, try and review those basic concepts, and then we continue with general linear models for the rest of the semester. And we are going to be using Stata or R, and I will help you as much as I can to avoid having to fight with software, because that really isn't the point of the class. The point is to be able to start doing your own data analyses. So there we go. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you next week.